So welcome to this series. So this series is called On the Other Side of Psychoactive Plant Medicines. And
Yeah.
I'm just speaking to different people about their journey, exploring, because what I've noticed is that a lot of people are stepping away from that world these days. Although the most people that I have spoken to, it's actually people who've been working in the ceremonies, so it's really interesting. So today Rishi is joining.
Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to speak about this topic because I'm quite passionate about speaking about psychoactive substances because I've been involved in this journey for over about 6 years now, and deeply involved with people that are plant medicine facilitators, me being a plant medicine facilitator myself, and learning about the power and the potency of the medicines that we're working with, and when it comes to a time when there's a need for it and when there's not a need for it. Yeah.
That's really good. I like that. Because it's really figuring out where that line is as well, you know?
Yeah, because there is a line at it. It comes to a point where these medicines are our teachers. And if we have to honor the teachings that are given to us, and at some point we have to realize that we can't just keep going to these substances to fix our problems. They'll teach us the ways, but then it's for us to do the internal work or the external work to create the right habitat and environment for us to heal and get to that vibrational frequency.
Yeah, I love that. So before we begin, I'd like to just take a few deep breaths in. Amazing. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to talking to you and unpicking your journey with the plant medicines. So do you want to just take us back to how it all began?
Wow, this would be quite interesting. So how it all began for me working with some of these medicines was I'd recently gone from a toxic relationship, and I was going through a deep healing stage in my life, and I went to a shamanic practitioner and went to it was a ceremony called Inner Dance, and that was invented by a gentleman called Pi. And Inner Dance, the theory behind Inner Dance is it takes you through a deep internal dance within, and the specific music played, frequencies, the alpha waves, beta waves, delta and theta, and the way it's designed takes you on an inner journey which activates the natural DMT within your body. And it was so there was no substances involved, and it took me into a deep natural trip state, if you want to call it. And then I was guided to work with Kambo to start with. So I worked with Kambo, which isn't a psychoactive medicine in that way. It can be to some people, but it was a very cleansing medicine. And then after working with Kambo, I went back to an inner dance ceremony, and I had a strong calling from Grandmother Ayahuasca. And she came to me in a vision in the journey and just called me and said, it's time.
And at that time, did you already know about it?
No, I had no idea. I'd heard a few things on podcasts and things like that, but I wasn't as aware of what she was about. So luckily enough, I had the right connection that brought me to a ceremony working with her. And yeah, it was one of the most profound ceremonies I'd ever had.
So it's so interesting because I feel like a lot of people always say they get this calling.
Yeah.
What is there any other things to describe that?
It was hard to describe. I'd say she came to me in a vision, the colors and the way she looked was just so beautiful. It was like an earth base, but just vibrant colours in her face, and I just knew instantly, like, it's her. When she called me, and the synchronicity of being able to access the ceremony so easily, I just trusted it, like, this is what I need to embark on. And yeah, the calling was so strong that I chose to go down that journey. And the first time I'd worked with her was a ceremony where I worked with Grandmother on the first night. The second night I worked with Grandfather San Pedro. And then the third night I worked with Cacao. So it was like a really beautiful combination of working with the grandmother, the mother energy, grandfather, father energy, and then the heart-based Cacao, and just merging that into the heart and the ceremony.
Amazing. So after the first one, did you think, oh, this is something you're going to continue, or is it?
No, I had no idea. I didn't think I'd ever continue on that journey. And one day I was just living my life, and my friend said to me, oh, I've got some dimethyltryptamine, DMT. I was like, okay, wow. And I'd be interested to try this because I've previously done a ceremony with ayahuasca.
Which is the same.
Which is the same, yeah. Which is one of the active ingredients in the medicine.
Yes.
So I worked with DMT, and when I worked on, like, I took DMT for the first time, it was like going back home. It was like just a remembrance of what happened in the first ceremony. All these flashbacks, all these, like, remembering, oh my God, that's what I seen. That was what I was going through, because in the first ceremony, there was so much going on. I just didn't have that comprehension. But after going with the medicine, DMT, it just brought back so much memories and so much love and bliss and that remembrance. And then I chose to, I was recreationally using DMT a little bit at the time. And I was embarking on my life. I was a plumber at the time, funny enough, and helping out plumbing.
Wow.
And I just randomly turned vegan. Going about my life, just turned vegan, and I started to cleanse myself again. And I got a call from my friend. She said, oh, my other friend has a ceremony going on with ayahuasca, but she was scared to go and hold space. And I just said, okay, I'll do it. And it just felt aligned. So I had no idea what I was getting into. I had no idea. And I just decided to go along. It was the second time I'd ever drank.
So somebody else was invited to hold space?
Yes.
But they weren't ready?
They had fear in them. They didn't feel that it would be too much for them.
So basically the opportunity came for you to do it?
Yeah, and it was like I was being primed and prepared by spirit beforehand, because I randomly turned, it's not random, never random, but I turned vegan at the time. And when I went, I just had no fear, I had no expectations. I went in, and that was even more profound, because then I had to experience it from the other side. Before, it was just me receiving, whereas now it was me learning to work with the medicine, holding the medicine, and being a servant to her, and being able to help people, that those that were in that position that I was in. And it was, again, truly mind-blowing.
So it's really interesting, because I feel like the fear is, in general, for all of us here, is a big thing. And I think especially when it comes to these medicines, there is a bit of like anxiety with what is going to come up and the unknown, I guess.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, because obviously you felt ready.
Yeah, I felt ready.
Yeah. So what, and even in the first ceremony, did you have much fear around it, or not really?
No. First, I had no expectation, and I just went in, and everybody was drinking, and the guy next to me, on his first drink, he was, and I was like, huh? Whoa, what have I got myself into? This is like, so I've drank the first drink, and nothing much has really happened, and I'm like, okay. And it's common, that happens in ceremonies. So I've gone along, like, I'm not really feeling it. So I had a big second, and then it slowly started to creep in.
Yeah,
open up, and started to see more visuals, and started to like get guidance from spirit, and strong guidance to let go of that toxic partner. You know, I cried, and that was all about embodying my feminine energy, and I just let go after that and just surrendered to her. Such a deep surrendering, and I would guess she found me. I feel still honored to this day that she chose me to be a servant after drinking her only once, and that's very rare. Even in the jungle, people have to take hundreds of thousands of times to work with her before they're even in that position to be able to hold the medicine in that way. So I'm still humbled and very much grateful for that calling from spirit.
So what before the first time and like the way that you found yourself to that dance as well, what was happening in your life at that point? Did you already like do some kind of work?
Yeah, so I was So I was practicing more of like a psychic. I was doing Reiki work. I was still working full time and trying to juggle my finances in a normal way, doing normal jobs, and as well as things on the side, and like doing readings here or helping someone do healings.
Yes, that's it, because you've always kind of been tapped into your psychic abilities, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
okay.
That activated. I had a Kundalini awakening 10 years ago now, but in 2014.
Wow.
And I had a really deep awakening at that point, which wasn't as much.
Mine was also the same year.
No way.
Yeah.
What
I think there was a few people.
Month?
Like April, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly. Wow.
Yeah, 10 years ago. Like.
Yeah, wow.
It's so funny.
Wow.
So yeah, no, tell me, I'm intrigued.
Oh yeah, I'm intrigued as well. I want to know more about yours. Yeah, it just kind of happened naturally.
Yeah.
I had I was going through awakening. I was working with crystals, and I kept working with rose quartz after a healing I had, and I kept giving it out. I'd get it and give it out, and I went to the crystal lady. I'm like, why do I just felt guided every time, like, it's done its job with me.
To release.
To release it, but to give it to someone that needed it more. And to that, because for me, love and the heart is the key. So I kept giving it out, and one day I went to this shop, and I said, I want some crystals again, but I keep giving them out. And she said, oh, maybe buy some for yourself. So I bought 5 for myself. Okay, this is for me, not to keep giving. Then I went to my work. I worked in an off license, like 20 miles out the city. And as I was working, a random lady walked in. I said, excuse me there, I have cushion covers for sale. You're interested? I was like, oh no, that's okay, but if you have something that would be of meaning for me, I'll take it. She went in her bag and pulled out 2 crystals. And these 2 crystals were the 2 crystals that...
But why did you say that?
I don't know. It just came through. As you know, we sometimes we just say things, and she gave me 2 crystals. My jaw was like, how would she know I've got 5 crystals in my bag underneath? So the 2 that she gave me created the 7 chakra zones.
Wow.
So I'm baffled. Then she said to me, oh, I'll read your fortune. It'll cost you £40. I was like, and at the time, like I was like, she said, and as I said that to her, she says, don't worry, I know you can put the money back because of what you do. And again, my jaw was like, how does she know? Because at the time I was selling drugs on the side and I had money, and I was like, how does she know what so instantly I'm like, here we go, take what you want. And then she read my fortune, and she said to me what would happen. She said to me that I'd stop taking drugs, I'd stop selling, I had to go on a more spiritual journey. She basically told me a lot about what would come up for me. And then she said to me, you give too much, you need to start keeping it here. I said, okay. So at the end of it, she read me, and she said, by the way, you have had 5 years of bad luck. I will remove this, but it will cost you another £40. And I said, no, that's enough now, thank you so much. And she smiled, like she wanted me to say no. In her reading, she kept saying, you're giving too much, you need to learn to say no and give to yourself.
So it was almost a test.
Yeah. So she smiled, and she said, well, I'm going to remove it anyway for you. Clicked her fingers, and then she said, by the way, you can do what I can do. And she left. And then me, I'm there like, I'm just working in a shop and selling drugs. I was into like conspiracy theories and stuff at the time, but I was never that deep into this sort of stuff. And I was like, me, psychic? Never. This, and
So how old were you at the time?
10 years, I was 26.
Okay. Yeah, oh
26, 27, yeah, 27. And then from then, naturally, I stopped smoking drugs, I stopped selling drugs, things just started to transition. I met this teacher that then came in the shop, and she was like an elder 60-year-old lady, and she was a psychic. So then she took me under her wing, she taught me Reiki, she helped me to work.
And this is all in 2014?
Yeah. Then she like gave me my first oracle deck, she taught me how to like believe in myself. And even at the time, my kundalini was so strong, I didn't realize like all this stuff was coming through, the manifestations, the guidance, the intuition, like being in the right place at the right time, things just aligning. And it was like just feeling and vibrations, and yeah, it was incredible. So that journey,
wow, I love it.
at the time changed me, and from there I embarked on a deep spiritual journey.
So what when you had that reading, was it what she said, was it like, yeah, I know this is gonna happen, or was it just like, I don't know?
I was I don't know. I was skeptical, very skeptical about it, because I'd never had a reading like that done before. And now it's so easy for me to read to people that way, that I can literally look at their eyes and tell their past, present, and future. It's incredible to look at the shift that's occurred for me over that time.
It's so wild, because I feel like, I mean, I totally resonate, because when before 2014 as well, it's almost like I was just living in the world, just doing what everyone's doing, right? But I would feel like I wasn't feeling, like I was numb, you know?
Yeah.
And then it was just like, boom, and this whole other world opened up, you know?
Yeah.
And then also, but I was like, I knew it, you know? When I was a child, it was almost like I knew that there was something else going on here. It wasn't just this, you know?
So how did it occur for you in 2014?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like it was so rapid. I don't know, like, I mean, now if I look back, I was in this abusive relationship, and then it was like literally 6 months after we broke up. And I think we broke up like in April, actually. Well, that's when we moved out and everything. But right at the end of it, he basically like threw me on the floor, and I was mad. And then I think, I don't know, I think there was like trauma going on there, because I probably just didn't process it.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, my body just went poof, and then I got like chronic fatigue. I put on 2 stone in 2 months. Like, it was crazy.
Wow.
I never had a problem with my body, like, ever. And then everything, and I started meditating. I read this book, and then I was meditating every day.
Wow.
And then everything just went, and the same synchronicities. It was just like, wow. All of a sudden, I was like, I can feel now. Because everything just became, I felt like I became really sensitive to everything.
Like, became alive. Things started to like, the music, like, I can feel the music. Like, I didn't know that. I used to only hear it before.
Yes, totally. And then like, even just getting on a bus, like, I was just like, wow. Like, I don't know, everything was just like, wow. And the relationship must have played some kind of part, because it was very controlling, you know? So when I left, I was like, I'm free. And I was like on such a high, but I knew deep down, I was like, this isn't healthy. This is too high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then it just all came crashing. And then I think even after that, it was like, okay, now I can appreciate just being on my own.
Yeah.
Just, you know, doing things for myself.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's such a but the same, like, but me, I never even knew what spirituality was before that. Like, I had no idea. I know people used to say the words, but I was just like, what even is that? You know?
Yeah. Like, what? Psychics? What? Mediums? What? Healers? Who are these people? What the? Yeah.
It's so funny, because it's just like such a different person now, right? Such a different person.
Wow. So what's your journey with after that, with your awakening in the psychedelics and working with psychoactive substances too? Yeah,
so I was just meditating for a long time. I went to India, and that was just also crazy, because I felt like I was at home.
Yeah.
Finally. I was just like, why am I feeling at home in this country? I've never been here, you know?
Yeah.
And then I came back, did a bit more studying into Buddhism, and then I found the plants as well. And then my friend basically did a ceremony, but this was after like 4 years as well of meditating every day.
Yeah.
And then he just said to me, it was really cool. I think you should do it. And then I had one other friend who told me about it before, but I wasn't really paying much attention. Plus, also, I've never taken any drugs or anything. I've never smoked weed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it wasn't really like on my mind at all. And then, but when he actually explained it to me, I was like, oh, wow, like this actually sounds like it's also part of my healing. It can be part of the healing path. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I don't know. Then just one day it was just like, yeah, you need to do it. You need to do this. You know?
Wow. What medicine was it?
Ayahuasca. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How was your journey on your first?
Yeah, it was amazing. I was just like dancing the whole time, but sitting down. But I just didn't stop moving. But it was like this dance. The whole thing was like this contemporary dance. But yeah, everything opened up and there was just like colours. It was very joyful. I was just like giggling. Yeah.
Wow.
But then also I definitely had this connection to like my higher self that has stayed with me ever since.
Yeah.
Something just went boom because I was asking myself questions and the answers were coming immediately. And then there was a paradox. Everything was speaking to me in paradox.
Wow.
It was like, the reason why you don't know is because you know.
Like all I know exactly that one. Yeah. Yeah.
All of these. And I was just like, wow. Yeah. So then, but I wasn't serving. But then I thought that I was going to, at one point, like, be working as well. But then it was just like, oh, that's enough. Yeah. But I love that. Yeah. So it's so cool as well that you have managed to open your psychic abilities and everything like that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it is so natural to you. I remember when we first met and you also said to me, like, we can all do this. Everyone can do this.
It's what I teach, is what I try to do is empower people. So even when I'm doing readings, I find it difficult to keep reading for people because I prefer to empower people and show them that actually anything that exists in me exists in you. I'm just a mirror for you right now to show your innate abilities and what a human can potentially unlock and do because we are limitless beings.
So cool. And then also so the Kundalini for you, what back then, what was happening? Was it just like energy?
Just energy, yeah. Just energy moving through, and I think that's what also awakened and opened up some of the gifts that were opened up for me. I got into like my psychic stuff, just believing in it more and understanding, fine-tuning it. Yeah, the belief is the biggest thing.
It's so true.
Just trusting.
I think, I remember reflecting back as well. For me, it was all the stuff started changing, and it was just like, whoa, what's happening? Like, and it's so outside of Western medicine.
Yeah,
like, completely.
And being able to look at someone and see their ailments and feel their ailments and being able to help them through things. We are so connected to one another and gifted in that way that we can share our gifts with one another and help each other rise and heal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been beautiful, and yeah, the journey of psychedelics has been quite interesting as well. I remember when I met you at the festival, first time it was all about love, and at that point I overdid it. So at that festival, I just come off the back of 2.5 ceremonies. So I think I drank Mother 10 times. 10 times. I did 2 San Pedro ceremonies.
You mean 10 times in general? Or?
Yeah, or 10 like nights. So I've done
in 10, a row?
Not in a row, just like in that month. So
separate.
It'd be like a 2-night weekend and 4 nights in a week and then 2 nights again. And I did that. And I did 10 nights in the month, 2 nights with San Pedro. I was doing other things as well. Then at that festival, I was taking like mushrooms. And on the end of that festival, All About Love, my friend gave me some tanga. And I had some tanga, and I had such a bad trip. I never tripped like that before. And I was so grounded and present. And I went over to the fire, and everybody was like calling me, "Oh, Rishi, come and sing and dance. Let's like
Yeah, I
enjoy."
remember this. Yeah.
And I just had this realization that this is all me. This is all created by me as like as the oneness, and like this is all part. This is me, and they're all calling me back. And it was because I was so grounded in my body at the time with that. My ego couldn't take it, and I just started to panic. I tried to smoke tobacco to take it off. I was walking around, pacing. I was having such a bad trip. I called my friend, please help me, please help me. I don't know I can't take it, I can't take it. And I went to this dome. They had this musical dome. It was like the rave tent. And I went in there, and I was quite deep still in the medicine. And my friend, he's a brother, and he was like, "It's okay, bro, it's okay." And he was the medicine man, and he gave me the medicine. And then this other woman came over, and he was like Father God, and she was Mother God. And she's like, "No, you don't need to do the medicines anymore. Stop."
She was saying it to you.
She was saying, literally saying it to me in physical life. And I was like, whoa.
She said that to you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was quite deep in the trip, and I was like, whoa, Father God's telling me yes, Mother God's telling me no.
But why? Do you know her? Did you know her?
I met her at that festival.
Okay, fine.
And she was trying to comfort me and help me. She gave me biscuit to try and like calm me down. I was panicking, and then people were talking, and it's like their voices
intense.
Yeah,
it's like
everything's like. And the worst part about it was there was no trips, no visuals. I was so grounded in my body. There was nothing at all. It was just pure, and I just panicked. I had to basically go in my tent, sleep it off, and my friend just came and gave me some cleansing, and I had to sleep it off. And then that day I got up, and I had to take like a couple of months break from taking anything because I'd overdone it.
Wow.
I'd overdone it. I thought I was brave and I could handle it all, and actually the recreational use of it as well on top of that at the festivals, and it taught me a real slap in the face to say, no, you need to really take this stuff serious and really understand the power of what this is.
I feel like a lot of people have had that, because when you take it, especially mushrooms as well, recreationally, it's like, don't disrespect it, us, you know what I mean?
And it's so common. I go to lots of festivals and places, and now I'm like the trip sitter. I'm the one I don't take it anymore, and I'm always guiding people and telling them it's your choice. But my teachings and what I teach is not to take it recreationally at these places, because it can be quite a dangerous place. Actually, it can be open up a lot of stuff, and the reason these medicines previously were done in sacred space, like set and setting, and then having a responsible shaman present that knows how to deal with the energetics of what's going on.
Yeah, because it's very common at some of these festivals, right? It's so true. And I think when I was there at All About Love as well, when we met, I had some mushrooms. Also, it was just like really opening. But yeah, I think I tended not to do it in those environments because it can be very intense.
Yeah.
Just other people as well around, and just like sounds, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hardly took anything as well. But it was just like... But it's so interesting what you're describing here, because I've totally felt that before as well, sometimes with the ayahuasca and mushrooms as well. Something happens. It's just like this fear, do you know what I mean? Within the like experience that I'm having, and then it's just like this tension or something, and it's just like you can't get out of there. It's like what is this, like, you know? And when you were just describing that, how you were saying it was like too much. That's what you were saying, right?
It was too much, and I'd been abusing it. That I'd be hold my hands up and say I was abusing the medicines. I wasn't taking them as seriously as I should, and as being someone that in the position that I am now, and given the gifts by spirit to serve the community, the medicines, serve humanity, and having to really understand that it's a real sacred honor, and it's I can be so playful with it and really like take it all not so serious, but really there's such a serious integrity that comes along with working with these things, that it has to be done with the highest regards. And understanding the potency of these medicines and what they can do, how they're unlocking people, and what traumas can come out of somebody, how they can handle the ego death, especially at places like festivals where it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, 100%. But it's really interesting because what do you think it was? Because you said you were abusing it, but do you think it was related to the previous times you were taking it, or not really?
I think it was related to the previous times that I was taking it, for sure. I feel like the experience that I had, they were so healing and profound, but I just wanted more, like trying to reach some ultimate pinnacle enlightenment or some high and actually when I took the break, I realized that I didn't need to keep doing that, and I wasn't honoring the teachings, but most importantly, I wasn't integrating the lessons. And integration for me now is so important. Even when I take private clients for my work, the key, I'm always supporting them after, more than just the work we do beforehand, is afterwards. How they are then conducting their life afterwards. How are they approaching things? Are they going back to that abusive relationship, and how that may still affect them if they're just come to me for that healing? Or how are they navigating their work situation? Or how are they dealing with their sensitivities and their spirituality, or coming back into the oneness and then going out into the world? Yeah. How do we handle that?
Totally.
It can be overwhelming.
Yeah, integration is very important, especially with medicines. I think I feel like it's something that's kind of overlooked, when actually I feel like that's where it is, you know?
Yeah.
That's where the juice is.
Yeah, integration, and how to then, by integrating, then next time, then the new lessons come along, new teachings, and you evolve.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I feel like for me, like the first time it was very joyful experience. And then, you know, if something, I don't know, I feel like when things came up, it was just like this really dark thing. Do you know what I mean? And then you're in there and it's just like, what is this? Like, it's so crazy, you know? And then I think at one point it got to a point where it was just like, why am I doing this?
Like, yeah. Why am I keep coming here for am I punishing myself now?
Yeah,
It's just coming to a state of like, do I want to like pain constantly? And then she will give that if you're wanting that, and she'll like, more, this is what you've come for then, this is what we'll give you, until then she'll like, now you get it, now you know what you're doing, and then it switches, and the polarity, then she'll bring the joy back and the love, and be like, now you get it. You don't need to keep coming for that pain. You don't need to keep going digging into shadows. If they say it with healing, if you want to find something to heal, there'll always be something.
Yeah, it's so true. I just remember one time I had like a mushroom ceremony for my birthday, and one of my friends, the friend who introduced me in the first place to ayahuasca, he, at the end, we were like, found each other, and we were just giggling, and he was just like, why are you doing this to me? And then I was just like, what do you mean? You're the one that introduced me.
Wow.
And then he was like, oh, yeah, you're right. And then he goes, why do we keep doing this to ourselves?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's actually a
profound,
question.
Really profound. Yeah, why do we keep doing this to ourselves?
Yeah.
Why do we keep like trying to search for something? If there is something, it's cool. And then sometimes it's nice to feel the bliss and the love and the visuals and stuff, but through the work that we do, we can access them states anyway, naturally.
Yeah, totally. You know, the first time I drank as well, I was kind of before that in Buddhism and all this stuff, so I just remember there was a really thing where it was just like, you were already there. Like, there was nowhere else. And it was like, you were already enlightened. Because, you know, that word, like, and it's so, I don't know, I feel like so confused. What does it even mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, no. You're here, you know. It's such a funny thing. It's like when you realize that, then this chase stops.
Yeah, and you keep chasing something, and then you realize that actually they say in when you reach samadhi, you come back and they say chop wood, carry water.
Yes.
After samadhi,
Chop wood, carry water.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
okay, we just feel it in a different way, and the bliss still comes through that, and knowing that we're just in a different place now in that consciousness within us, and we work from that consciousness state, knowing our conscious actions, how we can choose to act consciously. Okay, what we are ingesting in our bodies, for instance, we look at consciously, and we start to realize that the energetic frequencies and the vibrations of everything around us, what we put in ourselves, how we love ourselves, what we give ourselves, all then impacts to keep that frequency and keep that bliss alive.
Yeah, everything.
Mm.
Yeah, so how long was it that you were like overall working with the medicines?
So I was like a 5-year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 5 years deeply, nearly every month, sometimes twice a month with ayahuasca, then doing mushrooms, doing cacao ceremonies, doing different aspects. And then there were so many teachings that kept coming in and I kept ignoring. Like I sat on this bench and it was in lockdown. I was smoking DMT. I was in nature on my own, and I couldn't break through. And I had a massive dose, and so why can't I break through?
Yeah.
And I was like stuck in between realms, and then it's like we call it hyper slap, where spirit are like, no,
not this time.
No, yeah, you're not coming through. And I was like, why? Then I looked down, and with the oneness on the bench, it said no, and then it said manual.
Wow.
So I knew in that instant. I still ignored it. I stopped taking DMT, but I was still working with grandmother, and I went to a grandmother ceremony, and I was deep in the medicine, and I was sat there and just opening up and closing space in my eyes, just dissolving reality and then bringing it back, opening it, holding it, and then she said to me, "You can do this without me now." This is how the shamans really used to work. They really they can access the state. That's the yogis. That's the people beyond us, the teachers that used to say that we can be in that. And I still ignored it. I still kept crewing, and at the time I needed some, like it would help financially, and I just loved being in that space, being able to serve. I love to serve people, helping them heal, singing, dancing, being there of service to grandmother until I had a year and a half ago, I had stuff going on, and I went to the ceremony, and it's like I thought I didn't know, and I got there and everything I needed to ask her, I already knew. And she says, "You already know. Well, you think you don't know, but you already do know. So you don't need to keep coming to me, and it's okay. It's time now to let this go." So I honored it. This finally time, I said, "Okay, this is. I have to step away now, and embark on my own journey." And also because I worked with this amazing shaman, he's still one of my greatest teachers. I love him to bits. He's still my brother. I had to understand that I had to step out of his shadow, because then at one point the apprentice has to also learn how to become a master.
Yeah, we have to rise.
Yeah, and then I can then give birth to other people and to help empower others. And I did with other work, but with this work, it was different. And because I was always naturally connected to the spirits, talking to the trees, to people lost, like grandmothers, grandfathers, ascended masters coming towards me. I had so much going on already, and I still do. And now I serve through that purpose, and I help people in the way to say that the medicine path is beautiful, and I always honor it, but there's so much you can do without.
So how long was it between the time when you were on the bench and then you had that final message?
About a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, about a year and a half. I kept ignoring it. Year and a half around that period. I kept ignoring it because I loved what I was doing. You know, it was so amazing. I was with this beautiful family that we were like working with this main shaman. We were serving our community. We were helping people heal. It was so much magic and so much learning through her teachings, ways how to bring people back lost in the galaxy, doing all the things like entity removals, working with soul retrievals, working with relationship cutting cords, working with energetics on such deep levels, working with vibrations,
Yeah.
that it was beautiful teachings. And I'm so grateful for them teachings, but I have had to let it go and honor her teachings and say, right now it's time to go different path.
Yeah. I love what you said about that. She said to you, you think you don't know, but you do. Because I just feel like that's so powerful for all of us. Because that's also the searching, the seeking. We keep looking,
Yeah.
We keep looking because we think we don't know.
Yeah. We think we don't know, but we do. It's all within us.
Yeah.
And she exists within us, and she's always with us. So yeah, it's been a journey letting it go, and now wherever I go to festivals with friends, with people, I'm always condoning to say it's okay to work with it, but to really understand and listen and know when there's a time to say, right,
yes, love that.
It's time to honor these teachings and go a different path and learn how to do this work without.
So there's also what you were saying about you loved being there, and I think one of my friends previously was saying that she thinks that a lot of people love it because it's just amazing environment.
Yeah.
There's like no guards, it's very loving, and the music and the singing and all of that,
Yeah, the setting is just incredible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But again, as well, and you don't really find that in other spaces as much. Like maybe in cacao ceremonies and stuff,
Yeah.
But it's like we can still recreate those spaces, basically.
Yeah, and work with them in ways that are not
exactly
without the medicine. Hence, like when before, it took me back to working with inner dance.
Yes.
So now I've got a friend who teaches it, and I'm waiting for her. She's running a course where then I can learn that, so I can run inner dance ceremonies.
Exactly.
And they're so similar to. I recently went to a friend's CAP, Kundalini activation practice, and I work a lot with Kundalini energy, and when I'm doing healings and energy work. And they're very similar. The blueprint is so similar.
Yeah.
They play the same music to activate things, and then the facilitator comes along and does a touch on the arm or around the forehead to activate the energies, and then that takes them into a DMT like trip. The blueprint is so similar. So recreating that sort of environment,
exactly,
it's just incredible.
Exactly. And then I love it as well that you say. You mentioned at the beginning as well, knowing when to stop, because I feel like this is something that's not really spoken about much. And the fact that is also a path. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it is. I feel like people or some people think that that's it now. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like there's a distinction, because even with what you're saying, it's like you have to be able to do it alone, manually now.
Yeah.
There's something there,
Yeah, to access these states manually is really important. And my friend recently taught me, Jen, she said there's the red path and the white path. And the red path is working with all the medicines and working in that state. But the white path is the path of purity and working with just pure energies and cleansing through that way. And working with the white path then naturally allows you to stay in that state without having to take anything to go there. So then when you do take something, it has no impact. It doesn't change much because you're already there. So there's a story I think it's a Ram Dass story where they met some yogis and they gave them the acid.
In India, right?
In India, yeah.
Sages.
And they just took them Om Namah Shivaya and just went back on their motorbikes, and they were like, "What? How are you still functioning and doing this?" And they're like, "Well, what you don't realize that we're already in that state, so we can function, we can be there." And same in ayahuasca ceremonies. I've been so deep with the medicine, but she's taught me how to hold that space.
That's one thing that
I can function. I'm walking around, talking, holding the room, and in all worlds and dimensions at the same time, holding that vibration state.
No, just because you said that, I kind of want to go down there.
Yeah.
I feel like that is so important right now, especially with what's happening in the world. It's just like all this chaos is just chaotic, but it's
Yeah.
like, can you just
Hold that love and peace. Hold that
Yes,
vibration. Hold it
exactly.
all. Not allow it to distort your frequency. But even with the chaos, you can hold it. And I have a practice within my when I see clients at the end of it, I show them how to hold that chaos. So even I teach them the peace and I teach them the chaos, and they feel both at the same time after the session. And when they feel it, they can hold it because they're in that state of oneness that they know that it doesn't disturb the inner or outer. It's just the energy is moving and vibrating.
I mean, I like what you said. When you feel it, then you can hold it. Because if you avoid it, you can't hold
Can't
it.
Yeah. Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
If you avoid it, you can't hold it.
Yeah. And then it stays.
Yeah.
You're like running away from it, trying.
Whereas if you just accept it, then it's okay, and you can just stay in your peace and holding that oneness within.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the red and the white. I love that. And I think, the thing is, for me, I feel like I've always really felt deeply the path of purity. Like, that's why I didn't do those drugs before. Like, I never smoked a cigarette because it was just like, no, it didn't make sense to me, you know?
And that's probably why you were called to your Buddhist path and going to India, and a lot of the teachings there are all about that.
That is so true, yeah. So now I think it's just like coming back to that. And then I stopped drinking alcohol anyway, 2014, like a long time ago.
Wow, it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Saying back then, because I had problems in my stomach and I was just like, this is not helping at all. I never liked the taste of alcohol.
Yeah.
So I was just like, why? No.
No. Yeah, mine's been 4 years, and now I'm so sensitive to it that I had some recently.
Yeah.
By accident. I won't say accident. It was in Ibiza, and it was a special coffee, and it was like, okay, because I like coffee, and I didn't realize it had brandy in it. So I said, okay, it's been a while. Let's just go with it. I'm on holiday.
And it was coffee and brandy.
Yeah, together. It was quite a potent mix. So I had it, and I was okay in the moment. But then when I got home, I was just being given so many different like low underworld visions.
Wow.
I was pure in the underworld all night, and I was like, okay, this used to happen when I drank alcohol previously. It would distort my vibrations so strongly.
Yes.
I didn't really. I had to go back to remember to say, now I remember why I gave it up fully.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like it's a similar thing, and I like what you said. It distorts the vibration, but when you start tuning in and you're very sensitive, you can feel it. Otherwise, that's what, like before when I was saying it was like I was numb. Because you just do it, and you don't notice what's happening energetically, you know?
Yeah, you don't notice,
yeah.
And that's why people, when they go out and when I go to bars and clubs, I can just see and feel the energies around, the entities, the lost, like hungry ghosts, the beings, the attachments. It is prominent, and they're kept alive with people through keeping their vibration low, whether there's drinking, smoking, and then even after that, if it was a daily practice, their vibrational frequency stays at a certain consciousness level, which then allows things to feed off them. And then, because we are like energy, we're like batteries, we are energetic beings. So once these things shed, then naturally we don't want to have these substances, and we want to keep in the higher vibrations.
Exactly, yeah. And I feel like with the plant medicines, it's a similar thing. Not that it's like alcohol, because I feel like alcohol's a whole different thing. Like, you know.
Yeah, alcohol is. Yeah.
But I just feel like it's like it's guiding you to raise your vibration, right?
Yeah.
And then once you do, it's like, okay, I can't take you any further, you know. You need to walk alone, like, you know.
Same with Santa Maria, working with cannabis. She's a beautiful teacher, and people misuse her all the time. And they say the consciousness level, she opened people up, and they do get really high and go to really beautiful states, but then continually taking her only keeps you at level 5.
Yes.
And then to go higher than level 5, you have to let her go, and then you start to open up even further.
Exactly. And it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, literally, it's it's keeping us trapped at that state because we're not allowing we're not taking the teachings. If we're just constantly taking all the time, I mean, she's beautiful, and I give so much thanks to her. She's served me so much in difficult times in my life when I was a teen, growing up through a lot of traumas and pain and on this like gangs and all drugs and all that. It was a beautiful journey to bring me where I'm at, but there comes to a point where once it was gone, then full expansion could happen.
Yes, love it. Yeah.
She's beautiful, and I found after working with ayahuasca and DMT, I don't take her anymore. Very rarely. I think it's in a few years. I gave it up 10 years ago, but max I do like 1 or 2 puffs as an intention to set. Okay, please teach me what I need to teach. Last time I did that was a few years ago, but whenever it's done, she's psychoactive. After ingesting, especially ayahuasca and DMT, when you work with her after that, she becomes very psychoactive. She becomes her consciousness is so much more potent and different, her vibration.
Got it.
Yeah, because you've opened up neurological pathways in you that were not open before.
Yeah, I think one thing that came to me around the time when I realized, like, okay, cool, that's enough, is it was that path of purity. And basically, like, with what's happening at the moment with this transformation, is that actually it's a natural thing. Like, you know, like you keep saying, everything's here, it's within us. We don't need these external things. So, like, for that to take place fully, it needs to occur organically, basically.
Yeah. And it's beautiful to work with the teachings, but then once you let her go, the manual state is just... It's such a beautiful place to be in.
Yeah. But I do love as well that you're honouring it, because I feel like the whole point is not to say, no, you know what I mean?
No. I still recommend it to people as well that do need it. And she's one of the most profound teachers on the planet, and I've got so much gratitude for her.
Yes.
I mean, I even keep her on my altar still, just to honour her for who she is and what she's done for me on my journey.
I just think that's amazing, because I feel like at the moment the world is filled with so much cancel culture, and it's just like, it doesn't need to be like that. Like, now we're cancelling the moon, like, you know what I
mean? Everything becomes exacerbated.
And it's just like, actually, we can move through it, be grateful, you know, because then you're staying in that place of gratitude, and then that is the oneness. Otherwise, you're in the separation still.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not doing that anymore. You know?
No. It's like, knowing that we are one with it all. And keeping what we can do to work with our consciousness to keep ourselves pure as possible.
Yeah, I really like that. And just the gratitude for all, you know? Just in the world, like, even the dark stuff, all of it, it's like, be grateful.
Yeah, gratitude for all the stuff that we've had to endure in our lives, gratitude for even things like the COVID situation, which has had a massive impact on people awakening, even subjects right now with disturbances on the planet, with wars going on, and just giving thanks and prayers, the power of prayer, and praying for that peace, praying that people find their way, and for us to be the way showers. About us anchoring that peace frequency, then we can go out and share that to the world.
Honestly, it's so important. I think people are just a bit lost, generally speaking.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to just fall into the separation and just attack, defend, you know, try to prove a point.
Yeah.
And I really feel like the whole point is, this is teaching us to come into peace with ourselves, so that we're not operating like that anymore. You know?
Yeah. Not to point the finger outwards,
yes.
But to look within and see if we can change what's within.
Totally, but it can be hard, right? So how do you do that? How do you navigate the being peace, emanating peace part, you know?
By trying to find forgiveness for those.
Ooh.
Forgiveness.
Oof.
Forgive them, but forgive myself. And then not holding on to these denser vibrations. It's natural things occur, you know, there may be anger, there may be feelings. You can feel the pain of the earth and feel the pain of what's going on other parts of the planet. But then trying to be in that forgiveness and love and being that light and joy and love that the world needs. And rather than
exactly
going into that frequency then getting lost in that pain and feeling all the pain, it's okay to feel it, but if we hold on to it
and stay there,
then the ones that are in pain, they need your light, they need that love. You need to be that guide to say, oh wow, no matter how much hell and no matter war and how much things have occurred, there's still heaven, there's still love, there's still peace, there's still beings out there that are giving hope, giving faith, giving that, being able to give that love to that child that needs the love. It doesn't need for you to be in that pain with them. It needs you to be in that love.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting because I feel like, especially with what's happening now in the Middle East, it's like, it's so easy to stay in that pain,
and feel it. It's so easy to feel it, and it's okay to feel it, but not let it distort us. Keep it at that love frequency.
I mean, it's mad. I've seen so many different things, and then people saying, "Oh, you're bypassing," and it's like, so you're right. Someone needs to remind. We need to remind each other as well, like that. This isn't it.
Yeah, and war doesn't be solved by more war.
Exactly.
Fire is not going to defeat fire. So if we keep anchoring that same frequency, it's just going to keep causing
coming, and we're going to keep creating it.
Yeah, and then there's going to be sides. Oh yeah, Israel. Oh yeah, Palestine. Oh yeah, this or that. Actually, we just need to come back to the oneness. And if they remembered that oneness that we are feeling and knowing, and that love that we are all one. If I hurt my brother and sister, I'm hurting me. I'm hurting. We're in that state. Then there wouldn't be no wars. There wouldn't be that. So we have to be the living embodiments of that.
Exactly. Yes.
And it's okay, we're not perfect, things are going to happen with us, but we just have to continually work, heal, and come back to that state.
And I like what you said as well, showing hope, because yes, when some people are in those stages, they're not connecting to that.
Yeah. And
necessarily knowing, oh wait, remember, hope, faith,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember who they are. Remember who we are.
I mean, it's a fascinating time, hey?
It really is. But there's a lot of beautiful changes that are occurring from it.
Exactly.
So we're just holding the faith and knowing that even through the times where it looks dark and bleak, and certain times there's still light and love and joy and faith and hope that's on this planet, and is continually rising. Sometimes it may take disturbances to awaken people.
That's exactly. And there's more to come.
And we can just be the way showers for that.
So how long has it been now since you kind of stepped away from the ceremonies?
It has been a year and a half.
Okay.
And I'm not planning on going back unless she really calls me, and I've stepped away from all them sort of medicines. I do cacao ceremonies max, and I'm planning on running a few coming up, but that's, even then I really learned to respect the medicine of cacao as well, because it's really easy to, I'm going to come cacao in the morning, cacao here and cacao there, and and it's like, wow, actually this beautiful medicine is, and even learning more of the alchemy of it, of when I make it, I prefer to make it as pure as possible and not put too much alternative milks and spices, and
same.
Just keep it as plain as possible.
Same.
So you get the raw frequency.
Yes.
So that's my journey at the moment, is staying away from it and trying to teach people about the medicines and the path and what it entails, and just sharing my journey of what it meant for me and how I didn't listen, and I've been taught rude awakenings from it, and by learning, I managed to open up so much blessings in my life, because she's always there with me, always there with you, always there with all of us, and she supports.
Yeah. So how has it been? How's your life changed? I think a lot of the time, like I was saying, the hard thing to step away is from the people and the love and the setting. So like, since you've kind of done that after a year and a half, how's it felt?
It's felt amazing, actually. I found that in my own life, things have started to come solidified. I started to really look after me. I started to self-love. Started to really honor myself. Really then make the changes in my own life to what I want to create for me, and the changes I wanted to see, and then going on my own journey of learning to become a master, stepping into more mastery, letting go of habits that no longer serve me, letting go of addictions, letting go of things that are not aligning with me, people, places that allow me to step into my fullness.
Amazing.
And it's all been guided by her, or allowing me to enter more altered states, allowing me to keep in the consciousness of bliss, allowing me to be in that love state more.
Yeah, it feels like just lots of cleaning and clearer with what's happening. Yeah, actually, there was one thing I did want to talk about, because I feel like it's not like I just think it's all about energy. It always has been, but we're only kind of like catching on to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like the way that you talk and the way you're describing it, because it's the way you work. It's really all about the frequency. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And working with that. And then also what you said about staying. I don't know. Do you have anything you want to share with in terms of like other people kind of truly grasping the energy field? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, to share with that, I would just say, just coming back to love always. Love for oneself and love for another is the key to this all, and allowing, not being afraid to go deeper within and looking at the wounds and the traumas and what's there that prevents even more love frequency. Ultimately, it all boils down to love. And the medicines, they're beautiful teachers, they're teachers, and we have to honor them as the sacred teachers they are, and knowing that sometimes that teachers serve their purpose. You've done your school, you've done your college, you've done your university, and then it comes to a stage when then you have to go and step out into the whole big world yourself. And we're always continually learning and continually teaching, and we're all students and teachers in this. I learn so much from another as much as I learn from them. They learn from me. It's always reciprocated.
Yes.
So yeah, just learning that teachings have been integrated, and it's time to move forward and to share love, just to be love. Love is the answer. I don't know what I have to say on that.
Thank you. And there was another thing I wanted to ask you, just about the entities. So you did bring that up. I feel like it's such a real thing, you know. And how, in your experience, how have you seen it working in the ceremonies? Because I feel like obviously the point is to like really protect the space, right?
Yeah. So how we would see it is entities like thought forms. They're vibrational frequencies and stuff that we hold. So we might have, I'm not good enough. That can turn into an entity within a being or within a person. Or I'm ugly. I'm ugly. That ugly. We think it's just a thought, but that thought becomes a being and becomes like an entity. We class it as, and they attach to us and feed off our frequency that keeps us there. So then when we let go of this stuff, and we go into purer forms, and all thought forms are entities, even the positive ones. So if we stay in a state of emptiness, we are free. And it's been a tricky subject speaking about entities, because I've had ceremonies where there was a clash between the shaman and the other shaman, because the word entity got used in ceremony, and he said he shut it down. He said he didn't want to bring that word in because it's bringing fear, because people don't understand what entities are. But then the other shaman was like, well, this is a living truth. This is how it works in ceremonies. We rife around entities. This is the consciousness. And there was a clash between one person saying not wanting to bring that fear consciousness because people don't understand what entities are, but the other one is saying actually they need to be aware and enlightened of what that actually means. So if there's a human sat next to that person, and they've got this big entity or being or something attached, and they need to know whether it's reptilian or stuff like that, because it's common. I've been in ceremonies that I've dealt with that. I've had private clients that come with all sorts, and having to clear that. And it's a touchy line, because if a client comes, I don't always tell them,
of course,
and I have to know where their level of consciousness is to be able to express that. So I have to work a fine line in between that. I teach about entities. I teach that these are real consciousness thought forms that are around, and people can send them through psychic attacks when they think you're this, then vroom, they're sending these things out to each other as attacks. They're sending entities to each other. So it's about knowledge, and it's good to keep that knowledge and awareness. But I'm also aware that some people may not also be at that level, and they may go into real fear. Oh, it's demons! Oh my God! It's the what's the other one?
It's the Anunnaki.
Yeah. It's the Anunnaki, and it's this and it's that, and oh my God, no, I can't do this. Oh my God, but arming yourself with the knowledge is good.
It's the fear,
yeah.
But like you said, be in the love, right? Because that helps with the fear.
And love they can't touch love.
Exactly.
They can't be around it. My first ceremony, they came along, and the reptilian came along, looked at me and was like, hello, hi. I was like, oh, I love you because you're a part of me in the oneness. As soon as I sent that thing love and showed that we were one, it couldn't touch me. It just went. Yeah, exactly. Then another one came, an insectilian, like, oh, hello, mate. I was like giving that love, and it went. I was like, oh wow. And I was like, okay, it's all one, it's all me, it's all part of the infinite consciousness. And by doing that, it couldn't touch me. And then the fear wasn't there, because the fear vibration would how it would get in. Whereas if I was at love, it just went. So now when I work with people, just send it love, be with that love vibration, and it clears, they go.
So question, did you see when in ceremonies at all, is there because there's always this question of where are you going, what's happening in this realm, and the entities, is it also a place where they come in? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've had all sorts happen. We've had
you kind of just said that.
I had we had one where the space wasn't protected properly, which sounds very interesting.
Yes.
And the first time that's ever happened in a ceremony, and it didn't feel protected, and the shaman was playing the gong, and as the gong was playing, I was like, I was like, why am I feeling attacked? There's someone else that went down, there's someone else, and a few of us that were more sensitive could feel it. I was like, what is going on? We hadn't even taken medicine at that point. This is before we started the night, so it was just like a sound journey. And then I had to go and speak to my friend, and we were tuning in and working, because we were quite naturally in the energetics realms. We were like, oh my God, there's something going on. There's like a portal. There's something so then he had to bring his guides and protection in, and we worked on a how would I call it, astral level? Let's call it an astral level, but work on an ethereal level and bring the energetics into peace. And then when we mentioned it to the main shaman, he didn't get it. And we were like, no, we felt this was it. And he's like, no. And I said, we were adamant. Look, anytime I worked with sound, vibration and gongs for so many times, when the gong plays, that should majority, nearly 90% of plus, clears the entities, clears the stuff. They can't handle that vibration of the gong.
But it didn't.
No, it didn't. It was actually getting to us at the time.
Got it.
So I've had times where it hasn't been protected.
Yeah.
But times when it's been really protected.
Yeah.
And I've seen people with all sorts of attachments, all sorts of things going on with them.
It's so freaking interesting. Like, and I feel like it's interesting you said that you spoke to shaman and he was like, no, like, I just feel like some people don't really know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The energetic levels, you know?
And it's so common along the medicine journey.
Yes.
So many stories I've heard of people that go, especially going out into the jungle and having shamans that have not held the space properly. People that have like one shaman, my friend, got. She was the first person I went to Cambo. I can't remember her name now. This Asian lady, and she lived in my hometown Leicester. Then she went traveling Peru, left us, sold her stuff, went to the ceremony, and midway through, the energy got too dark for the shaman that he left them.
Yeah, I've heard this happen before.
And then she was sat there, and the whole people were there. There was this dark energy, this I think she said there was some sexual energy, not from him, but just
other
weird
people.
Yeah, the people, just all this stuff. And then she was traumatized. Literally, it took her years of therapy to get over that ceremony, and she didn't go back to the medicine for a long while. And it was a lot. We had to support her. A few of us was constantly sending her energy and healing, and it's very traumatic.
Yeah, this is what my Nayabi said on the previous episode. She was just like, it's so common now that people who are embarking on the spiritual path, they go to that immediately.
Yeah.
And it's like they're not quite ready for it. And maybe also the space and the setting, everything is involved, and they're coming out traumatized. Like,
yeah, it's so common. My friend recently, she said there's a guy in Ibiza that was holding mushroom ceremonies. He didn't know what he was doing.
Exactly.
And people rolling around, climbing buildings, doing stuff like fully in stuff. And he's like, yeah, leave him. Like, no, actually, this is severe. You can't let you can't let someone like deep in the medicine go be climbing a tree. Like, no, that's dangerous. And the space is not held properly because all of a sudden everybody is this new age shaman. And I didn't choose the path of a shaman. I didn't choose the path of working in this way. Like, I was humbly chosen, and I honor it. You know, I honor it. But most people then, it's all fun and games, and actually, there's time for fun and games, but there's a lot of stuff.
But
it's serious work that is being done.
And like you said, respect
the medicines and respect the teachings, and holding the space properly is so integral.
Yes.
So integral. There's many people that are not understanding awareness of energetics, and this is also maybe because they rely on the medicines for that state. Whereas if they adhered to the purity path and started to learn about energy and frequency and vibrations from that space, then when they're in that space, they're already equipped. That when they're in these spaces, they can already see and feel that this person's carrying this, or being okay. Before we even start the ceremony, just keep an eye out on this person, or this person's carrying this trauma, or this, because they're already there. They're already connected in that way.
Yeah, obviously some people do know, but there are definitely some who are holding space and I feel like they don't even know. You know?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, and you can feel it as well sometimes. Like, or sometimes they're even holding a bit of fear as well.
Yeah, I've been in spaces where I've not been held properly. I've picked up entities and in places where I've not even been able to surrender. When I tried to surrender, I picked up something. This was at a festival into the wild. Someone was holding a space, sound journey, and it wasn't held properly. So this wasn't even with the medicine. No, and they didn't know what they were doing with the sound. Sound, yeah. They had a shikapa, and they're waving the shikapa around like willy-nilly. I'm like, hold the energy. Why are we working with the shikapa? What do you need to understand the power. In fact, the shikapa is one of the most powerful tools a shaman uses in the jungle. So it is a very beautiful instrument, but used purposely, not just willy-nilly, just like it didn't. The space wasn't held. I've been to a gong ceremony where I wasn't able to surrender to the whole gong. And she's a reputable gong woman that's like does a lot of gonging, and that space was not held. I couldn't surrender until at the end when she stopped and she put jungle music on, and it was just like animals and critters and like and I was like, now I can let go. And it wasn't because it's because when she was doing it, the space wasn't held properly.
I mean, that's a good point, actually. It's everywhere. Like, energy is what we're dealing with. So it's whatever space you're holding.
Yeah.
But obviously with the plant medicines, because you're going then to these different realms, it's like, I don't know, it's more tangible sometimes.
Yeah, it's so much more tangible.
Yeah. But it's still the same thing, like if you're doing sound journeys and cacao and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, good point.
So, yeah, it's really having to be integral with it and understanding what these medicines are about and what they're going to bring up. And some people are like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to do cacao ceremony. Great. But cacao isn't just some light, joy, loving, like, I'm just going to dance around like I'm high off No, actually, I've seen people go into severe trauma states from cacao. It can bring up a lot. It's a very potent medicine, and it should be the highest respected, not just the way it's just like, it's quite a new age neo-shamanism thing again now. Everywhere is cacao ceremonies. True. Everywhere you go, they just offer cacao. It's fine if it's that they water it down, it's like more milkshakey vibes. But if it's ceremonial proper doses, you have to be aware of what that can also occur, what that can bring up in somebody. I feel quite passionate about that. Now you've mentioned it, I still feel this like passion coming out.
Yeah, because you must have seen so much of it. Like,
yeah,
do you know?
Yeah. I really have, and it's why I choose to be in this integral way.
Exactly, the path of purity.
Purity and living through my truth and trying to inspire through that way.
Yeah.
Walking my walk.
Yes.
Or walking my talk. Yeah, walking my talk.
Yeah. Do you have any advice, maybe, or suggestion about when something traumatic can appear for someone and like how to move through it?
Depends on what context. In ceremony wise, in life, like how would you well,
maybe in ceremony and life.
Okay, yeah. So like in ceremony there should be also like facilitators and people that are able to hold that trauma through, to guide you through it anyway, and just not having the fear to go into it is really important.
Not having the fear, yeah.
Yeah, just allowing yourself to be fearless and knowing that the pain will be temporary. But the gold that comes out from going through the darkness and through that pain will be so worth it. So it can feel quite, I don't want to go there, I'll be crying for 2 days, it can be quite a lot, but actually out of that would be the gold. But in ceremony, there should always be someone that's trauma informed, that understands what trauma, how to deal with these traumas when they come up to help somebody. But in your own life,
I think also just in ceremonies, it's like ask as well, because I feel like sometimes you don't realize that you can ask for help.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to ask for help. Some people, we're born as humans that it's not easy for us to ask for help. Can I have some help? I've got something going on.
Yeah.
And sometimes recognizing these things is important. To be look at the person's really quiet. Maybe maybe just go and check in. Are you okay? Do you need any help with anything? Sometimes offering the help is just as important.
That's true. I like that. And then you were saying in life?
In life is just again the same. Is just not not allowing yourself to be scared to go into it and having support networks, trying to reach out to people. But the thing is, sometimes it's scary if you're not used to asking for help. A lot of people just go through that trauma on their own.
Yeah, and a lot of people take medication.
Yeah.
Numb the whole thing. You know.
And I always say it's just to trust that you can go through it. Try to go through from love, not to be afraid of what that can bring up. Looking at something like, my father used to hit me, and now I attract abusive partners because of that. Okay, my partner's hitting me, my father used to hit me. There's a correlation. Sometimes it's hard to look at that trauma, but then by diving deep into it and then finding, say, the root of, okay, it's the father, where it came from, and it was a form of love, so I was associated that as love, so I stayed in that patterns, whereas now I realize it's not for me, and I choose to not to be around men that are going to treat me in that way. So it's allowing yourself to go deep, diving deeper into trauma. But there's so many different tools out there. There's podcasts like we're doing right now. There's YouTube channels. There's Google. There's many different ways people that can help.
Yeah, so true. I like it as a trust that you can handle it, like your body, can take it.
Yeah. It comes up at the right reason, at the right time. So it's trusting, okay, it's come up right now, I can deal with that.
Yes, I can handle this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, is there anything else?
Yeah, no, I think that's a wrap.
Yay! Thank you so much. It's been an honor doing this with you.
Thank you as well. It's been amazing. Yeah, really good to hear your inside scoop.
Thank you.
And also before you found the medicine and everything as well, and how it all just unfolded for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yay. Thank you so much for listening to this episode and to this podcast. We hope that you can gain many insights through the art of listening. If you haven't already, we would love it if you can follow us on YouTube, on Instagram, and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts if that feels right for you. We've also just launched our first online course, Awakening 101, A Ninja's Guide to Navigating Your Spiritual Awakening, which is led by me and is offered via donation. So if you feel called to that, then please dive in. It's available via our website. Thank you.